Hi, my name is Kate. I'm also known as twolittlekits, and welcome to my FlossTube. I've got lots of finished pieces to share because it's that time of year, well, one of 2 times of year that I do have lots of finished pieces. I have some updates on my works in progress, or a couple of them, and some bits and pieces to chat about. So let's get started. Wow. Let's start with finished pieces because I've got lots to share, which is always exciting. 2 of them I don't have with me anymore. I had to finish 2 of the teacher gifts. Sorry, to backtrack, for those of you who don't know or are not in America or whatnot, this coming week, so the day that I release this will be the first day, is Teacher Appreciation Week in North America, or at least in the United States. And it's just a week where kids and their parents will make a gift or give a gift to their teacher or teachers to say thank you for, the amazing job that they do in teaching our kids. So it's, Teacher Appreciation Week, like it spells out. I also include my kids' therapists in that. So I had to gift 2 of them last week. My youngest teacher went to get knee surgery done this past Friday, and so she won't be at school next week to accept gifts and stuff. So I finished that piece and she gifted that. And my youngest's therapist also won't be in next week, and so I finished that piece early and she gifted that piece as well. So those 2 are ones that are done and out the door already. Then I also have other pieces that are ready for next week. There's these 2, I'll just hold these 2 up together because they're small. So this is my oldest's general education teacher and her speech therapist. I really like this one. Her teacher is so sweet, and she wears these really cute glasses that are really circular with the frames, and it's really hard to see probably on camera. It's because it's tricky to see in person, but because they're almost frameless around the actual lens itself. It's a really light color, so hopefully you can see, maybe if I hold it like that, you can see the tiny little lenses. But anyway, so there's those 2. And then this one needs explanation, but there's this one. This is my oldest's special ed teacher, and she's been the same teacher for my daughter for the last 3 years now. So the first year that we had her, I did one of these pieces, and I didn't want to do another one for her. So last year we just got her just a regular gift. And because my daughter is going into middle school next year, she won't have this teacher, I wanted to do something extra special for her. So I made this piece. This is all I was going to say freehand, but it's not technically completely freehand. I did design the flowers, and I wrote out with some rough drafts and stuff the actual wording myself. So it is all my design, but I did use a heat erasable marker to draw it on and then stitch it. So there's that one. And I do have 2 more, but I'll show those in works in progress because I will be working on those over this coming weekend because they're not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. And the backs of these all look like this. This one has a flower design in it, but they've all got the little twolittlekits.com, which is such a pain in the butt to stitch because I didn't get ones that you just iron on and it sticks. I wanted to save a little bit of money and get the ones that you have to sew on, not thinking about how frustrating and annoying it would be to actually hand sew these on, because I'm assuming a lot of people just use a sewing machine to sew them on. But I don't own a sewing machine, so yeah, you can see the tiny little stitches. They're really janky looking, but I don't know, I guess it adds to the charm. That's at least what I tell myself. So those are those. That's all the finished teacher and therapist appreciation pieces that I've completed. Yay! I have the next zodiac design that is available on my website already, and that is Taurus. And so I finished the test stitch of that before I released, obviously. And yeah, so that's what that one looks like. I really like this one. I am a little bit bummed. I was looking at it, comparing it to Aries, which I have here, and I feel like I should have made a little bit of a change. I should go this way because this one's first. I should have made a little bit of a change, but I didn't think of it until I was looking at the photos side by side. So you can see with the nose of the ram, I didn't use black, but I did here, and I'm kind of kicking myself because this one just looks really, I don't know what the word is, but it could have looked better, in my opinion, if I had done it a little bit differently and sort of stopped and thought about it. So yeah. Oh well. Other stitched finished piece that I have is the thumbnail that you will have seen for this video, and it's this silly little piece here. So I don't know if you know, but there's this meme song going around the internet that is in French and translates to Steve the Fish. So this translates to the fish. I've had this song stuck in my head for like a week straight now. I will link a video of it with the song in it in the description so that you can also get it stuck in your head. But I'm thinking about releasing this as a little freebie on my website. I do want to put it in a hoop, but I wanted to get your opinion. I've got a 3-inch and a 4-inch hoop here, and I don't know which one to put it into. So I initially was going to do it in a 4-inch, which is huge and has lots of white space, which is, you know, I'm a big fan of white space. But I do like the idea of having it teensy weensy in a little 3-inch hoop. Sort of it's not cramped, but you know, it's smaller. So I'd love to know which you think would look better. I am leaning towards the 3-inch hoop, if that sways anybody. But yeah, let me know in the comments. So yeah, I've got this silly little fish piece that I designed and stitched all within like, I want to say an hour and a half. It was really quick to stitch. It was fun to design. I don't usually design this sort of style where it, like you can see the cross stitches don't sit in it exactly, but I've always loved this design style of cross stitching. So I don't know, I felt like giving it a try. Let me know what you think, and whether or not, you know, you would stitch this. I've got it stuck in my head, and I got it stuck in my daughter's head too, which makes me laugh. And I have one more finished piece, but it's a design, so I guess it could technically be a work in progress, but we'll lump it in with finished pieces. It is the design for Gemini, the zodiac Gemini. I guess it is a work in progress, but I'm still figuring out the color of the hair for the two women. I'm not sure about what I want to do there, but yeah, I will have overlaid the design on top of me, and let me know what you think of that. I'll be stitching that once I've finished all of the teacher gifts and maybe done a little bit of work on some like other projects that I actually really want to touch on. So yeah, let me know what you think of that design too. That would be great. Let's move straight on to works in progress. I want to share the piece that I am super happy with and super pleased that I have almost caught up with, and that is my flower meadow. It's here, This is caught up to the end of April. So I'm recording this on Saturday, so I am technically 3 days behind, but I was so many days behind before. So I'm very happy that I am where I am at right now. I am starting to seriously get concerned though, because that's 4 months and that's all the space I have left. So yeah, I'm getting concerned. Wish me luck. I think I'll be okay. I think it will just not have this much space on the bottom. That's my hope. The next work in progress is the remainder of the teacher and therapist gifts that I have yet to do. They are for the 2 paraeducators that are in my daughter's special ed class. And I just decided to start tightening the fabric in the hoop. They're going to be both embroidery pieces as well, because these 2 women were the paraeducators in my daughter's class last year too. So they also got a Stitch People portrait last year. So there's this one here. These are going to be the same colors as the flowers here. So the light purple, the pink, and then the darker green, which is going to be, it's actually a little bit different of a darker green because I'm really low on that specific color. And I don't have, I checked my stash of spare floss. I don't have another skein of it, and I don't want to go out and get some more this weekend. So it's a lighter green. It's this green here. So that'll be the leaves. And then there's these little dots, which you can see here, and they'll just be little white dots. So that wasn't on this design. But this one is a little different. So yeah, that's that one. And then there's that one. It's the same thing, just shifted a little bit because the names are different. But yeah, I'm gonna start working on those basically once I finish recording. I was working on the designs this morning and like figuring out the lettering and then figuring out the flowers and then figuring out the layout and then traced it all. And then I realized what the time was, so here I am now. So yeah, there's those 2. What else have I got? Oh, I lumped Zodiac Gemini with works in progress, so I should have, oops. Anyway, we've got this piece here, which is all shoved in. This is Court of Crows Stitch Along by Fine Frog Stitching. I am a little bit behind on this, but not a lot behind. The next part came out yesterday, which is really small. It's the flame here, but on this side, so I'll be able to catch up. But I'm still finishing the little wizard guy down here. I am really close though. Like, I think there's the rest of the last purple and then the dark yellow, and that's it for that bit there. And then I'll be caught up, so that won't take long. But there's that piece. Hopefully that's in shot, because I can't see the screen. This little guy is so colourful. I love him so much. I still really like this stitch along. It's very cute. I'm curious as to what the other crows are going to look like. And the last piece that I have worked on for stitching, because I've been focusing so much on teacher gifts and the Taurus piece, because I really wanted to get the Taurus piece done and released last week. But I have done a little bit on this stitch along. This is The Secret Grove by Needlepoint Designs. So I'm currently stitching down here. It's a big squirrel, and I think it's part 4. No, part 5. Part 5. So yeah, I've done a little bit. I remember I had just started this part last FlossTube, because I did like the black, and I just started, like I did this black and I started stitching this black eye, and that's all I'd done. So yeah, I've done a little bit, and that's where I'm at. We are past the halfway mark. You can see the crease in the fabric. And I think this one has one more part to be released, and then this one's all released. which is cool but sad. I can only imagine what it's like to be the designer releasing a stitch along and enjoy seeing everybody's updates and seeing everybody stitching it and everything like that. And then at the end, just being like, oh my God, it's finally done. But also sort of being like, oh, it's done. That's sad. I'll get to there one day to do a stitch along. One day. So yeah, that is my finished pieces and works in progress. Ta-da! So I am going to have to break up the recording of this into 2 parts because I am recording this on a Saturday. I am recording this in the same room that my daughter is about to do an online class for, and she'll be loud and talking and everything. And I have tried to record my FlossTube in front of other people, like have her in the room playing Lego or something, and I'm just like, I'm so embarrassed I can't do that. Let's talk about Two Little Kits stuff, like stitching stuff, and then I'm gonna do editing magic. So Two Little Kit stuff. Obviously, I released this pattern this past fortnight. That one is currently on sale for 33% off the full price until the end of this weekend, this coming weekend. I'm thinking I'm gonna do that at least with the Zodiac pieces, maybe even all patterns going forward, just like the first X amount of days or weeks after a pattern's released, it'll be on a little bit of a sale. Sorry, I want some lip balm. Okay, what else? I released a couple of blog posts, not too many. I've been super busy with the teacher gifts, but I released a blog post about stitching daily and how it can help your mental health. And that one's called A Stitch a Day Keeps the Blues Away. The other one, is about explaining really briefly on fonts / typography and how to pick a font for your cross-stitch piece that you might be designing. And that could be that you are editing a design that someone else has made and you're like changing out the words with something silly or more meaningful to you, or you're doing a Stitch People portrait and you want to do the family name at the bottom or whatever it might be. So that blog post is Say It With Stitches, how to pick or design the right font for your cross stitch. I do also talk about designing your own cross stitch font very briefly and just like some tips on things to think about when you're doing that. It's not a huge how-to tutorial on doing that, but I've been meaning to write this kind of post for a long time. Oh, I'm gonna need a jumper, I think, once I finish recording. It got cold really quickly. Anyway, I wanted to mention something that is kind of boring, but really important to me. And that is that I have been using ChatGPT to kind of brain dump what I want to do and ask it to help me organize my thoughts, basically, all revolving around social media posting. So I have been organizing, basically, getting ready to hopefully this week, starting this week. It kind of actually started this last week a little bit, but properly starting this coming week with posting more consistently, more effectively, and more interestingly, fingers crossed. So it doesn't just include Instagram, but it also includes other social media platforms that I use, such as Facebook, both the page and the group, Blue Sky, Threads, YouTube Shorts, TikTok a little bit. That one I'm kind of like about, and eventually trialing Discord. So it does, like, saying that aloud makes me feel really overwhelmed, but I want to make Two Little Kits successful and bigger than it is currently, like as of right now, because it was growing really well this time like 3 years ago, I grew very quickly for like 4 or 5 months. I just exploded with new followers and new connections, and it just came to an abrupt halt, and I lost all motivation, and it was devastating. Basically, I just haven't really recovered from how it just stopped suddenly. It was like the algorithm was like, I'm not going to show any of your posts to anybody. And yeah, still feels like that right now, given how my posts engagement comes out. But anyway, so I just wanted to bring up that I am working on that, and I have my fingers crossed that it will hopefully over time help things sort of like gain momentum, not necessarily like it was this time 3 years ago necessarily. I don't know, I got to try something, and I've been wanting to do this, like just sort out my thoughts, sort out what I want to do regarding social media, how I want to approach things, and I realized that I could use AI to help translate my thoughts a little bit better. So fingers crossed for me. The other Two Little Kits / stitchy thing that happened in the last 2 weeks was I went to the local needlepoint store that I live nearby. It's like a 15-20 minute drive from my house, and it's so cute and so amazing. And I was waiting in line to pay for one skein of floss. Like, that's all I needed, because I did go to Michael's and I got every other floss I needed, which is actually this here. I grabbed all the floss colors that I need for the backgrounds for all the zodiac, so that I wouldn't have any worries about running out of anything. So I was missing one of the yellows, so I went and got that. And as I was lining up, I saw this, and I was like, well, this is a pattern that I wanted to buy online, and it was cheaper than what I remembered it being online. And so it's just an amazingly printed pattern. I don't have to print it out myself, and it's got all the flosses on the back. And I mean, ultimately I would love to be able to do this kind of thing and ship them to stores like that store. That would be so cool. Maybe one day. If anyone is watching that is a pattern designer and does do these kinds of properly printed pattern stuff, please reach out to me. I have so many questions, and yeah, that would be great. So I got that, and I will eventually stitch that. I have so many things in my to be stitched pile that is just a physical representation of one of those pieces that I want to stitch to. So who knows when I'll get to it. So that's Two Little Kits stuff. The last thing to chat about is just IRL stuff that's been happening, and honestly not a lot has happened, which, given the amount of stitching I've had to do in the last 2 weeks, has been really welcome. We had Easter the Sunday before I released my last FlossTube, and that went perfectly fine. Both of my kids just quietly still believe in the Easter Bunny, which is not something I would have expected at 10 and 8 years old, but here we are. So I got all these little fake kind of like styrofoam eggs and hid them in the backyard. There was like, I think 15 each for the girls to find, because it was actually going to rain heavily that night, and I didn't want to hide it in the morning because my youngest is an early riser. I didn't want to be like, hey, look over there, and then run out in the backyard and hide the eggs. So I did it the night before, and I didn't want to hide candy and have it all get gross or wet or both. So yeah, I did these little fake eggs, and that meant, because my youngest is really good at spotting eggs when we do egg hunts, and my oldest is a lot slower and just like excited about the basket that has a couple of eggs in it, like she forgets to keep looking for them. So it didn't matter how many each of them got, and it was perfect. It was like the best idea I've had in a while regarding holiday stuff. So they did an egg hunt for like 10 minutes or something, and they got baskets full of chocolate and some toys, and yeah, it was a nice day, and they were on a sugar high for the entire day basically, and as they should. That's what Easter is all about basically, in our family at least, because we're not religious. On the 2 Fridays that have happened, because as I mentioned, I'm recording this on Saturday, so yesterday and the Friday before, I had each of my kids sick. So my oldest was sick first, and then my youngest was sick second. So my weeks have been a bit shorter, which has been annoying, but it is what it is. But they're both fine now, so excellent. Other stuff's happened, but I'm not really going to talk about it. It's kind of just personal stuff. So that's kind of it, which is nice. I'm going to look at my calendar and see what's coming up, because we have our house cleaners. We hire a cleaner to come once a month, and they're coming on Tuesdays, so that will be so good. I hate having them here cleaning, but once they're gone and they close the door and it's just like, oh, the house is so lovely, and then the kids come home and they ruin it. So that's happening this week. And it's Mother's Day this coming Sunday. Well, not tomorrow, but this coming Sunday. I'm going to be trying to donate blood as well next week, like the week after the Monday after Mother's Day. So I don't know if that'll actually happen or not. We'll see. I mentioned in my last FlossTube that I was having issues with my iron levels. I've been trying to help it out by my doctor recommending that I take more iron supplements. We'll see. I'll go there and I'll get pricked with the finger prick to test my iron levels, and I'll find out if I can donate or not. Wish me luck. But yeah, I think that's kind of it. My next FlossTube is my 100th FlossTube episode. I have plans on what I'm going to do, and if you have any plans that you can suggest that I might not have thought of, let me know in the comments below. That would be super. But I do have an idea of what I want to do, and I have the next 2 weeks to get it ready for the release day of my FlossTube. I won't be doing anything before the FlossTube is released. It'll happen like when the FlossTube is launched, kind of thing. So keep an eye out for that, and I hope that you join me in celebrating. And I can't believe I've done almost 100 episodes. That's just bonkers crazy to me. I never thought I would have stuck out this long. I am proud of myself. So anyway, the last thing that will happen that I should have mentioned in the stitching part of the FlossTube is on the 17th of May, which is just before my FlossTube is launched. I will be able to list the Be Yourself pattern, which is this piece here. So this will be available on my website on that Saturday, because I had to wait until that date to be able to list this on my website. So yeah, this will be available for purchase on that date. I couldn't get back on. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I truly appreciate all of the comments and likes and subscriptions to my YouTube channel, and just I appreciate you being here and supporting me. I am grateful for it. So thank you so much. Until next time, which will be my 100th episode, which is like, I will see you around the internet. Bye!